The native grasslands in the prairies of the Plain States is a jewel and a national treasure.
America's native prairie really is a phenomenal resource. It's actually one of the most imperiled ecosystems in the world.
We've lost just tremendous amounts of native grass in this area.
And the saying is that anyone can love the mountains, but it takes soul to love the prairie.
Nowhere are the grasslands more intact in this region than that landscape called the Missouri Coteau. It's that matrix of wetlands and grasslands that attract waterfowl to the region, provide the resources both for food and for habitat for nesting in, and therefore they are the very best of the best habitats that we have left in this part of the world.
Mallard! We found 5 or 6 nests today, which just in the short time that we were searching was pretty good. This is good nesting habitat, thick vegetation as a result of all the rain.
A real concern I have is the amount of true native grass that's being broke and converted, and when I say broke, turned to farm ground and converted to cropland. There's a real push for more crops. Grain crops are obviously more profitable than the average cattle operation the last couple of years.
This is an example of a native prairie pasture that had supported livestock for the last 100+ years. And just this spring, they were sprayed down with herbicide to kill the native sod, and soybeans were planted.
Just in the last 5 years, we've lost almost 400,000 acres of native prairie in North and South Dakota. That's a substantial amount, and if that rate continues, a large percentage will be lost over a period of a couple decades.
The question is, how much grassland can we lose before sort of the whole grassland-based ag economy doesn't remain sustainable? And then we see just, wholesale loss of it as, there's no cattle barn to take your cows to. There's not enough pasture to maintain the large herds of cows that we have now. And if we see that, we'll see huge detrimental impacts on the wildlife population.
I have a concern not just because I'm a rancher, but because I run a livestock auction market. And when I see grass get torn up, that's just that many fewer cattle that might have a chance to come through my sale. So now along comes the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service and other donors like Ducks Unlimited, and said, we want to reward guys for good stewardship of taking care of the grass. So it wasn't a hard decision because it wasn't going to alter any of our operation.
There's interest from landowners to protect these areas. That's sort of consistent with their view of how this land should be used. And really, we just need the funding to sort of get that job done.
I wanted to be able to help Ducks Unlimited accomplish grassland and wetland conservation. It was probably one of the greatest feelings that I've ever had, is to be able to do something so positive and something that will have meaning for a very long time. I knew that the money would go towards grassland conservation, and I knew that it would be well used. I've said to many of my colleagues in Ducks Unlimited that I couldn't think of a better organization to give that money to. It's about the future. There's no other way to look at things, because we have a responsibility, I think, to ensure that all of our children, the children of the world, have wild places. They have grasslands and wetlands so that they continue to be able to recreate in them, to gain the benefits from them.
A land ethic that Aldo Leopold talked about. The soil has to be well taken care of. The grass has to be well taken care of. The water has to be well taken care of, and that'll sustain life. And that means all life, from the tiniest little insect to the most powerful species on the planet, us.
I hope that 40 years from now, we can say, boy, we were wise to hang on to some of this because we really need it for clean water, for clean air, for livestock production, for wildlife, and for all the good reasons that we have natural resources.